Hey, everybody, it's Jeff here once again with the Money Trekker podcast, and we are kicking off one of our entrepreneur interviews today with my friend Bill Boll. Bill is with a company called Nvolve Technologies, and you're going to get to hear a lot about that. They are doing some really incredible things on the construction side. They're really kind of breaking rules, changing the way we do construction, both over in Europe and here in the United States. So we're going to learn a lot today. And Bill's got a really cool background. Was a professional hockey player. Still does a lot with the NHL. So hang on. We'll be right back in a second, and we'll get started. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Money Trekker podcast. And today on the show, I've got my friend Bill Boll on here. Bill, how you doing, my friend?
Fine. Good morning, Jeff. Thank you for having me.
Where are you? I know you're on the road, so what hotel room are you in this week?
Let me look on the phone what it says. I'm actually in Providence, Rhode Island.
Nice. So, from what we talked about at the beginning of the show, I guess there's a little bit of a tropical depression whipping through.
Yeah, we're getting hit with Fred today, and then Hurricane Henri on Saturday if it holds according to the track right now. So it'll be a little bit of rain.
Henri if you're in Louisiana, and
right.
Henry or Coast. Yeah. Well, Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, because you've got a pretty interesting background.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff and I have talked about this numerous times. I mean, my background is kind of weird, kind of exciting, all over the place. So, as Jeff mentioned, I was a professional hockey player for just over a season and a quarter. Didn't really make it that big, but got the crap beat out of me a lot. And I used to have a big mouth and an agitator, instigator, whatever the case may be. But after I was shown the door, actually shown the bus ticket back home, I kind of wised up and went to school, got a degree in computer science engineering, and went to work for some software and hardware companies. I had some international assignments, and from there, I did it for about 20 years or so. I had a family, and then I decided to go out on my own and started my own company, my first company, which was a computer application company for mainframe computers. So for the old timers, those are the old big mainframes that companies used to have that are now so small they're like the size of a desktop computer and probably 5 times as powerful. But that crashed and burned. And I thought, okay, well, entrepreneurs, I see all these startups that are making a lot of money. What am I doing wrong? I started up another one, and kind of the same thing. It floundered a little bit, and then it sank pretty rapidly. And actually went back to school, got a second degree. And but the best thing best advice I got was, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, you're doing it all wrong. You have to know what you really want to sell, who you want to sell to, and what you want to sell, and just keep that focus, kind of like a thoroughbred horse who has blinders on. Do not deviate from that. And so my background, besides computer science engineering, was finance. And so I co-founded a company, a merger and acquisition company that went international and then eventually went public, and we did very, very well. But I learned very, 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 very valuable lessons, again, from people. Startups, entrepreneurs think they know a lot, and they don't know a lot, including me. I could probably be the drum major in a parade for people who thought they knew a lot, but didn't. But we made a lot of money. We exited at just the right time. And then I had relocated from Chicago to Austin, and a business advisor / friend of mine asked me to go to coffee with him one time. Sure. And we met, had coffee, introduced me to an entrepreneur in Austin who was starting or trying to start a small home business devoted to disabled vets. And I thought, this is a great, great idea. What he had. Well, he was an inventor. He wasn't a business person. So my friend asked me, can you just, help run it, help, right the ship for about 6 months? So why not? Well, that 6 months has turned into 12 years. And, and we've grown from an idea to a full-fledged business. And that's not because of me. That's because of the people that we assemble on the team, and also the trust that we have employed or deployed to these people as well. And it's amazing when you interview people and you ask them what their passion is. It doesn't have to be about helping people. It has to be, number one, about doing the right thing, being ethical, being honest, being transparent, and also willing to listen and learn. So one of the first questions I ask somebody when I interview them is, tell me what your biggest skill is, your personal skill. If they say listening, they're hired. They're hired. So I know it's a long roundabout way, but that's my career in a nutshell.
Oh, awesome. No, so tell us a little bit about what this company is, and what, how you guys have evolved over the years.
Sure. So we went from designing and building homes for disabled vets, which sounds great. We ran into so many pounds of red tape from government agencies, and also personal agencies that said we're here to help, when they really were not there to help. We decided that we want to build the best type of building material using recycled materials that can be found anywhere in the world, and to allow anybody without a construction background to assemble some type of either home or school or office building or medical clinic. So we started to develop a system, and the system is not just materials; it's also the process to do it, and building system, and the ease of developing these materials, and also shipping these materials. And people might say, well, shipping materials, you put them on a truck, you put them on a barge, whatever the case may be. But one of our first potential clients called up and said, we would like to purchase enough materials to build over 100 small homes, a school, a village center, and a medical clinic. And of course, yes, we could do it. We can flat pack everything, put them in shipping containers. But the second question was, and it has to be delivered via an airplane and a parachute. And this was in Chad, the Republic of Chad. And we're looking at Google Maps, and we see these two big roads. We go, why can't we take these roads? Well, they're held by the rebels. So
Yeah.
we get through. So that was just a reemphasis about how we have to think about the global aspect of it. So in essence, we have trained unemployed people that have been released from prison, people that needed a second chance, people that haven't worked in many, many years, like housewives whose kids have graduated and want to get a work experience. We have taught them in a matter of hours how to put together two of our walls to make a home. An example that we like to use, and we actually have it on video and also in pictures, is we took two high school students and their I used to call them shop teachers, but their teacher, and our GC taught them in about an hour about the materials, about how to assemble them, things like that. They assembled a 2,400 square foot envelope for a house, perfectly square, in less than a day.
Okay. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So when you're building these, so is it just like prefab looking, the big square thing, square box type thing, or can you make these look like a real house or a unique building?
Yeah, we do the modern design, of course, the rectangles, things like that. Everybody else does as well. But we've also built mountain mansions that are 6,000 square feet with a lot of different angles, things like that. Most important thing is whether it's also hotels too, whether it be a hotel, 5-story hotel, or a 1-story small home, uses the same materials, the same process, the same sequential building system. It's just that's what's very versatile and agile about our materials and our projects. It can be used anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, and so a lot of and I've seen these, so I guess we can describe these to people, but I guess the best way I can explain it, the first time I saw it, it reminded me of a Yeti cooler turned into a building.
Yeah, and that's a nice description. It's a good description. You could use other descriptions, but I like that description. Yeah, thank you. But the other thing too is that we have many patents that have been that we received, but also a lot that are in the process of that they've been applied for. But we have a couple of connection systems that are the key to this. So whether it be a home retail center, office building, we can expand these buildings both horizontally and vertically with our connection system. So for families, one of the things that we addressed by accident, we backed into it, and entrepreneurs are always finding little gold nuggets along their path of building their company, is that if somebody wanted to buy and build a 1,000 square foot home, as an example, and then they started having children or more children or whatever the case may be, and instead of having to put their house up on the market and to go find another house and all that rigmarole and all that stressful situation, that they could actually purchase another 1,000 square foot home and connect it to their home that's already there. And we're not talking about months, we're talking about, again, weeks to do that.
Yeah, which is awesome. Well, and I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, where you're at right now up in Providence, I mean, which is so common in New England, was the Cape Cod style houses. That was really the whole concept behind the Cape Cod style houses. You bought a big enough piece of property, you built a small little box basically for, the husband and wife when you were getting started. And then as you had kids, you just kept expanding and expanding. And that's how so many of those houses grew. So you're kind of going, even though you're innovators and, modern technology, you're kind of going back to the way things used to be.
We are, but also you're correct. We're trying to make it very simple, simple, but also using very, today's level of intelligence as far as the smart home, things like that. So we talked about rapid on-site assembly, things like that, and open floor plans. But also a home's utility bills are usually cut by over 60% for electric, because our walls they can't be permeated by bacteria, by wind, by dust, whatever. And so they're very, very sound, they're very secure, they're very quiet. And so they don't use a lot of utilities, plus their insurance goes down. And we do not use wood, which means that so now you're fire resistant, you're mold resistant, mildew resistant. So a lot of these big pluses are are embedded in the materials as well. And as you point out, in the East Coast, the biggest thing was they like the aspect of saving on utilities, because utility costs over here are astronomical. In Texas, like in West Texas, it's not really utilities. It's, how do I keep the dust out of my house? Things like that. Or the wind. So
Well, and so, I mean, is this something that you find, people that are building these houses, let's say houses in this case, are they then putting in, solar panels, that type of stuff, or do they even need to with the efficiency that these things have?
Great question. So these homes come solar ready.
Okay.
And what we tell them is that you really don't need solar panels. If you look at the true ROI, it's going to take a long time to recover that, because the utility savings are already embedded in the materials. But some people want to be completely off the grid. God bless them, they can do that.
Yeah.
One of the other things with Nvolve is that we have an operation over in Europe, and it's in the north. It's about 55 kilometers south of the Arctic Circle. So in the summertime, it's great if you golf. You can golf at midnight and and play away, or go to a bar till 5 a.m. and sit outside and drink. In the wintertime, they get about 2.5 hours of sun. So it's a little cold there. But we do a lot of our R&D research over there too. Okay. So we've actually been on teams that created printable solar panels, kind of like the old days with the transparencies that a teacher would use. We're testing right now natural water purification from rainwater, so there's no electricity with that. We're testing a unique wind turbine that would be embedded into the house as well. So these are true off-grid solutions. The last project we just signed up for, we're one of 31 companies from around the world. They're going to participate in calculating how we can take water molecules in the air, convert them to hydrogen, and then convert them to electricity and put them in a home battery.
Okay.
So one of the companies, we're the smallest company in this project. The biggest company is Airbus.
Okay.
So yeah, they want to use it for their jet engines. So this is something we're taking just water molecules and creating electricity.
Yeah, and there's lots of those.
Yeah. Well, not in Texas, but
I was going to say, unless you live in West Texas, you live anywhere from like I-35 on to the east, you're good. But yeah, West Texas, not so much. Now, you were saying, I think we were talking one time, one of the technologies that you're using here in Texas more is the what's the where you get it from the earth. Oh, geez, I can't even think of the name of it now. The type of air conditioning now that you basically drill into the ground and all that.
Geothermal.
Geothermal. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So geothermal is prevalent throughout Europe. You don't build anything, nothing, even an outhouse without geothermal.
Okay.
And over here in the U.S., it's beginning to take hold in certain areas of the country. Texas Austin being one of them. Austin is a very hotbed, no pun intended, for geothermal. As it's about 90% of the same system that's used in Europe. It's a little bit different, but not much at all. That's in Colorado as well. That's another hotbed for geothermal. And on the East Coast, it'd be very hard to use geothermal, but you can use a lot of wind there. So that's why it's very agile. Those are energy solutions that have been around for many, many decades. But the headwinds, no pun intended, is usually the local or state or provincial governments that say no.
Yeah.
And not just with geothermal, but even with wind and even solar to an extent.
Yeah.
So that's why the less a government gets involved with this, the better off it's going to be for the client.
Now, with the construction systems that you guys have, does that require a lot of internal support, or is it basically self-supportive of itself as you're building? So you can have
question.
So you can have a true open architecture or whatever.
Yeah, fantastic question. So most of what we have in our systems are all digital.
Okay.
So if we wanted to, let's say, build those 100 structures in Chad, we actually have a partner in the United Arab Emirates that have the same machines we do and everybody else does. They're all commodity, but we have a special laptop that connects to these machines, and the laptop is where our IP resides. Okay. And so we just send it over, and then it cuts form, shapes, whatever it has to do, and then it can go in and ship it and install it. But the other thing too is on the front side is the development. So while we still work and still have architects and designers, they use applications for that, digital applications. And so it's at the point now. Now I'm older than you are, Jeff. I'm about 200 years old. I'm actually 62, but I still remember using a slide rule. And you talk to these people in our office, a slide rule is, I saw one in a book. Yeah. In fact, one time, yesterday or last week, somebody, one of our younger architects said, I actually saw it on Wikipedia.
Oh, geez.
Oh my God. Yeah. But so they're using a lot of advanced procedures, but now we're also using AR and VR, so virtual reality and augmented reality as well. So you can actually, and our clients do that. They'll walk into an office building and say, I want to move a door here. It'll take your finger, move it. It records it back into the CAD blueprint file. Yeah, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like and just from remembering the design of these, when I saw the kind of mock-up, they're all basically they're steel construction, aluminum skinned, right? On all the panels? They're
both steel and aluminum skin with EPS foam. That's for our versions of the wall now. I'm in charge of a project to look at other materials instead of the steel and aluminum, which, by the way, are all recycled. We get it from recycled sources. But we're looking at carbon fiber right now, which is 5 times the strength of steel. It's about half the cost, and it's still great for the environment.
And incredibly light.
Very light, yeah. Now, one of our panels, and Jeff, did you pick up one of our panels? When you were
no, I just saw that mock-up that you guys had.
Okay. So a 4-foot wide by 10-foot tall aluminum skin panel. That's aluminum skin on both sides with the foam. Weighs 34 pounds.
Jeez.
But it can withstand a Category 3 hurricane.
That's awesome.
And the equivalent for wood is 317 pounds.
Okay.
So instead of using 2 people and struggling to then nail it in and make sure it's kind of plumb, this one person snaps it. It snaps it. There's no nails at all.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And so, I mean, it takes unskilled labor and all that, and it's all plumbed and electrics run and everything, correct?
That's an option. Yes, they can have that. Yeah. Sometimes we like not to, but yeah, it can come with that.
Okay, awesome. And then from that point on, if they were to do that, then it really just requires a master electrician to effectively just click the button and click it together. Then at that point,
you only need a master electrician to connect to the utilities on the outside of the home. Everything else snaps into place. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is the future. I mean, whether or not the cities get onto it right away, it is the future. What's new? What's coming up in the business that's really kind of fun and that you can
Great segue. And this is why it's important for entrepreneurs to really have a very, very solid business plan, but also be agile enough to know where your market is moving to. Your market's always moving someplace. And are you going to follow the market, or are you going to find a different market for your solution and not try to morph it into that? So that's a fork in the road per se. One of the things that has happened to us in the past about a year and a half or so, we brought on more board members, and we brought on a board member from Airbnb. We already had a board member who was a former number 3 at Apple Computer, who was in charge of setting up their logistics. We just brought on a board member who sold his company to IKEA, and he's very big in supply chain. So they're tearing up a lot of what we've already put into place to make it better, make it faster, but also make it more efficient as well. So in essence, if Jeff were to order 1,000 square foot building, whatever it might be, home or office, today, and he paid for it today, and we would manufacture those panels tomorrow, we would ship it, that's Friday. So we would ship it then on Saturday, it would be installed on Sunday or on Monday.
That's amazing.
So yeah, there's no overhead at all. And it's all done. Both we have manual lines to do it, and also robotic lines as well.
Okay. How long does it take to manufacture, let's say, a panel?
We can do 30,000 square feet of panels in one shift.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So I mean, literally, if I wanted to build 1,000 or 30,000 square foot houses, you could have those done for me in literally one day.
Yeah. The biggest bottleneck is shipping.
Yeah.
Trying to find trucks to ship. That's the killer right now. And you also see, Jeff, the second part of that answer is everybody talks about 3D printing. And I know on the news you see a lot of 3D printed homes. And that is very good. That is a great future moving down the road. But they're very, very immature right now. And plus, if you ever walked up to a 3D home and touched a wall, they're very rough. They're not pretty at all. As far as building them quick and cheap, of course, for people that need an affordable home or for the homeless, great solution. We have a 3D printing factory in Texas as well, but what we're using those for right now are parts. So we're trying to swap out steel support parts for carbon fiber support parts. Mm-hmm. And so while we don't own that factory, we're a partner in it. We're taking the technology from the Department of Defense that they use for the military drones and how they actually create carbon fiber parts for their drones. We're using the same type of fibers. It's a mathematical computation, and for our parts. So instead of being able to hold 1,254 pounds per square foot, we can now hold over 4,000 pounds per square foot. So, So I like to use the term, how many sumo wrestlers can we fit on top of a house? And that's what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where you're going at this point. I mean,
exactly.
You're getting to the point where that category 3 hurricane is going to be a category 5 before it's all over with. you basically, as long as you can tighten the building down to the ground, it's pretty much not going anywhere at that point.
It is, yeah. I mean, we filed a patent last year that will, for a home that got hit by an F2 tornado, that home's going to stay there. It's not going to go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, like I said, I mean, even with the aluminum skinned, or even if you're going to carbon fiber, I mean, you know, the other challenge that you face in a hurricane or in a tornado is the ballistics that are coming through there. And I mean, this thing's basically bulletproof at that point. So
yeah. And the last thing, just quickly, I know I'm taking a lot of time, but last year we were asked to meet with a company in San Antonio, north part of San Antonio. They gave us the address, and it was a strip mall. And the windows of the store were all blacked out. The door was all blacked out. The name wasn't even on the door. We think this is weird. And we had to sign all kinds of confidential paperwork. And I can't go into detail, but we had 5 meetings, 5 half-day meetings. They were asking, how do you build these? What materials you use for your SIPs? Everything. I mean, the permeation. You know, can you guarantee that? Finally, it was that they're in charge. They were hired by NASA to create kind of a truck stop on the moon that would store payload for rockets that are going to go from Earth to Mars. They can't go directly there because of physics and because of the energy. So they want them to land on the moon, get filled up with whatever goods they're going to put on those rockets, then go to Mars and do whatever they have to do.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So we didn't earn a business yet, but it was pretty neat.
Who knows? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not there yet about moon-based moon at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's take a break here real quick. And then when we come back, Bill's going to tell us a little bit about the Fast 5 questions, his answers to those, and we'll find out how to get in contact with Bill. So we'll be right back just in a second. Hello, it's Jeff here for BK Wealth Consulting. BK Wealth Consulting is a wealth management and registered investment advisory firm with a little bit of a twist. BK works specifically with small business owners and self-employed individuals. And the whole idea is to help business owners and self-employed folks figure out a strategy to exit from their businesses. So whether it is a business valuation, developing an investment and financial plan and strategy, or developing an exit strategy plan for your business, BKA is there to help you and has the skills and the talent to do it. So if you want to learn more, go to www.bkawealth.com. That is www.bkawealth.com. Hey, it's Jeff here for TWorks Co-working. TWorks Co-working is a shared office space with everything from desks for you to share up to offices and everything in between. And TWorks has locations in Cedar Park, Texas, in Northwest Austin, in the Four Points area, and Dripping Springs. So if you need a place to work, you need to get out of the house, you need some help really building up your business, visit www.t-works.com. That's www.t-works.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back. And it's time now for the Fast 5 questions with Bill Boll. So, Bill, if you woke up and found that the business was totally gone, you have $500 in your pocket, laptop, computer, a place to live, food and drink, what do you do first?
I'm on the hot seat. Well, this actually happened to me in real life.
Okay.
During my M&A company times, I was fighting cancer and had to go for surgery. And the surgery took a little longer than I thought. And I was in the intensive care for 5 days, actually 5.5 days. And I had handed the reins of the one division, because we were international, over to one of my COOs. And when I woke up and got out of intensive care and was able to have my laptop, I didn't have $200. I had $0. He and another person took $4.16 million Canadian out of our account and left.
Oh, jeez.
And so we recovered about 95% of it, and he's not doing well at all. But so that did happen to me. And so what would I do? The first thing I did was to call our attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, we're always thrown in, always have an attorney ready. And a lot of people think it's a waste of time. It's not. I'm not trying to create a commercial here, but the attorney said, work on your health. We will take care of everything else. Mm-hmm. And they did.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and that's a real life story that can happen.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sure facing, oh crap, now I've got hospital bills that I can't pay on top of that. So
yeah. And there's just saying, why is your blood pressure so high? Well,
I just found out all my money.
Yeah.
While I was sleeping, my money went away. What's the biggest business mistake you ever made?
Starting my first company.
Okay.
Reason why is that I thought it'd be so cool to have my own company, make a lot of money, yada, da, da, da. I mean, before that, I was working for multi-billion-dollar international companies. And even though I was in charge of global divisions, I had a lot of people working for me. And so while, yes, it was stressful, yes, it was difficult, I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to start my own company. I'll start small, and then I can start to grow. Every mistake an entrepreneur can make, I made. And that's why I crashed and burned so quickly. And I burned through $55,000 in a matter of about 3 months. Mm-hmm. And what did I do wrong? And so great but expensive lessons learned.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that can be sometimes the challenging part too, is if you've worked, I've heard a lot of people, oh, well, I'm a consultant now. I consult with small businesses. My background, I work for, IBM. And it's like, yeah, but you work for IBM, you had basically an unlimited budget. Work as an entrepreneur, that budget goes away. So when you burn through $55,000 in seed corn, there's no more coming behind that.
No. No. And thank God it wasn't friends and family, or else they'd really be in trouble.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've been there too. I've made the mistakes, and I just tell people now, it's like, okay, learn how to start lean as you can be. Starve that business at the beginning, because if you don't, it's the more money you have, the more money you will burn through. It's that easy.
Yeah, you better have cash flow for at least 2 years, least 2 years, and be honest with your estimates, your cost estimates.
Absolutely. I've learned that every business I've started, and I get a little bit better every time. So, okay. What's a good book that you would recommend?
So there's a couple books that I would always rely on, but at times I'll meet with a entrepreneur who's trying to start up a business. And in the old days, when I was an older crotchety like I am now, I spent time with them and asked them about their business, what they wanted to do, the total addressable market, the key business plan questions, and they would always have this what they thought was a very solid business plan. I'd ask them, what page is your exit strategy on? Mm-hmm. If they had one at all, they would point to it, and I would tear that out of the handout, and I look at it and I would say, for the most part, what the heck does this mean? Mm-hmm. Explain to me verbally in 6 words or less what your business exit strategy is. And if they couldn't do it in 6 words or less, I'm gone. Mm-hmm. So there's a book called The Smart Business Exit. It's written by the author's name is Jeff, but it's Geoff, and the last name is Green. And it's a book that I recommend to a lot of these entrepreneurs. Buy it, read it many, many times back and front, and then go back and figure out what you really want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like I said, if you're not, we say the same thing in investing. It's not your entrance plan, it's your exit plan from any trade or any investment too, is the same thing. It's, you have to know both of those before you do it.
Exactly.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say is that it's amazing that many of these people who are starting up a company or have started up a company, they don't have a solid exit strategy.
No, not a clue. Yeah.
And because Jeff, you brought up the term risk. It's so risky. They don't realize how risky they are. They're going to fail. They are going to fail.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. Yeah. If you don't, and that exit strategy might be a successful exit strategy, but what's the other part of it is, where do you cut and run before you get so deep in the hole that how do you know this is failing and I need to get out? That's the other piece of the pie.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other question I asked, the second question is, if your business is successful, can you sell it today? If I offered you money, could you sell it today and walk away from it? Mm-hmm. And some people say, no, I love this company. I built it from scratch. So there's an emotional bond. I don't want to do business with you.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychologist.
That's exactly right. So, those are the ones that'll blow up a sell when they're selling their company. They'll blow it up.
Exactly.
You're taking my baby away, or you want to make changes to it. Well, yeah, if I bought the thing, I'm going to make changes to it. That's kind of how it works.
When your kid goes to college, it's, I'm going to miss them. No, really, I'm not, because I look at the mess in the room and stuff.
I just picked up another 1,000 square foot in my house. What's a tool that you use in your business that you would recommend?
Well, so, we have many digital tools, but my answer is going to be what I use personally, mm-hmm. what I tell our people to use. It's a product called Daylight. It's an application called Daylight, Daylite. Mm-hmm. And what it does, it connects to my email and also connects to my phone. And I can take an email and automatically create a task and assign a task and things like that. Because I get probably about 235 emails a day without all the spam and crap like that. But and I forget a lot too. So this has really helped me know what's due, what somebody's working on. And so a lot of things don't fall through the cracks anymore. So I highly recommend it.
That is awesome. Yeah, I've not heard of that one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. I think I get somewhere around 700 emails a day. And a lot of times they just get pushed farther down into the list, and that's actually a great tool. I need to look into that. What's the best, if somebody's got some questions about what you do or is interested in what you guys put together, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Email is the best. I travel a lot. So my email address is WBOLL and the Nvolve Technologies is well without the E. So it's NVOLVE technologies.com.
Okay. Okay, cool. Fantastic. And then we'll also put the website on the show notes page and your contact information. So anybody that's interested, the book that Bill talked about, as well as the that tool that he talked about, Daylight, we'll have a link down in the show notes page for that. Bill, I really appreciate this. It was fantastic today.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Great catching up to you. We've been kind of ships passing in the night for quite a while here with with everything that we've both been doing. So it was fun catching up, folks. This is some of the neatest technology you're ever going to see. I'd love, I would suggest if you want to see kind of how this works, they've got a little thing on their website that shows how a building gets put together this way. But just know that that's just one way. There's a multitude of different ways. So if you're looking for, if you're looking to build an office building or something like that, it's a really cool technology, and I'd highly recommend taking a look at it. So Bill, thank you very much for being on the show today. And
thank you, my friend.
Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you here in the next week or so. And folks, of course, we're always doing these shows. We do 3 to 4 shows per week. A lot of these with interviews with people like Bill that, are in industry, that are entrepreneurs and coming up with very cool things. So we'll see you back here the next time. Thanks a lot. And we're on all the podcast channels. So make sure that wherever you're at, you give us a good rating and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you know when these things come out. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you back here next time.